Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel once again, and today's video is going to be about mixing drums for rock music. For that purpose, I'm using this song from a band, a Portuguese band. Their name is Rubians, they're from here and they sing in Portuguese. And today, as I said before, it's going to be only and just about the drums. I'm going to show you my hybrid approach because I've mixed this EP in the hybrid mode because it was actually giving me the results that I was expecting and they were expecting as well. For that, I'm using what? Let me show you. Well, besides the plugins, I'm using also my chain, my analog chain, which is over here. And I'm going to tell you what I've got for my analog chain. So straight from the interface, I've got 8 channels going into a summing mixer. I'll show you a picture of the summing mixer. And from that summing mixer, it goes straight into this mixing desk over here, which is a Yamaha mixing desk. Super affordable, super cheap. It's an MG124FX, nothing fancy. Then channel 1 and 2, it's running the audio coming from the computer, or in this particular case from the summing mixer. And from there we've got a parallel chain. I'm doing parallel compression. I'm smashing the overall signal with this Fat One from CHILLOUT audio compressor, and it goes into channel 3 and 4 here on my mixing desk. Then from the mixing desk it goes straight to a valve compressor that is down here. I'll put a picture as well. This is also a CHILLOUT audio compressor. It's the C1 valve compressor, and it's compressing like 1-2 dBs max, no more than that. After that, it goes straight into this ASP 800 preamp, but I'm not using it as a preamp. I'm using it as a, let's say, coloration box or saturation box, because there are 2 saturation modes on channel 1 and 2, which I'm using, MOSFET drive and magnetic drive. So I don't care, it just sounds great, and that's why I use it, period. Just to give you an idea, I'm going to play the song. This was the way it sounded before we re-recorded and mixed. Okay, this is the way it sounds now. Analog domain, digital domain. So there you go. Let's jump into the drums straight away, but with the analog chain. Let's keep that in mind, okay? Now with plugins. Okay, let's have a look and see what's going on here. Let's start from the foundation. Kick, that's the way I start all the time. Foundation, the kick. Here we go. We've got 3 tracks. We've got kick sample, then a sub kick, and then kick condenser. So the kick sample sounds like this. Kick sub. It's a kick sub. Then the condenser without any processing. With processing. Now all the kicks together. As you can see, this is not doing anything. I was just checking the phase invert, and then SSL channel, pushing a little bit of top end, 7.5K, cutting a little bit of 0.4K or 400 Hertz roughly, and then pushing 4.3 dB at 74 Hertz. The compressor, not doing anything. It's literally not doing anything. Kick bus, because this is where I do it. If I've got like 3 kicks or 3 snares, I put them all together into one bus because it's just easier. I treat each one of them if I have to, and then I treat them all together just to make it more cohesive. So for that, we've got, oh, there's also something missing here. Sorry. Yeah, I'm cutting a little bit of 148, 3 dBs. Then on the bus of the kick, we've got a little bit more of top end, cutting a little bit more of 200 Hertz and pushing a little bit more of 62 Hertz. And this compressor is working here for sure. Just slightly, as you can see. And cutting a little bit of 138 and pushing a little bit of 250. That's it. Let's go for the snare. And the snare sounds like this. So snare bottom, snare top, and they gave me a sample as well, and it sounded like this. I didn't use this sample, I didn't like it, so I've used this one over here. And now everything together sounds like this. Without the sample, with the sample. So what we've got, SSL channel, once again, pushing 7.5, pushing a little bit of 2.5, cutting 500, the honky frequencies, and then pushing the low end 4.5 at 200 Hertz roughly. Let's just check if it's doing anything in terms of compression. Just a little bit, as you can hear and you can see. After that, I'm using this saturator to basically work like a clipper, okay? So with, it pushes the mid-range in a really nice way. I like it. I really like it. Graphic EQ, this one is from Logic, just pushing the top end just to make it brighter, and that's it. So from there, we're going to hi-hats. Nothing special for sure. As you can see, there's not too many things actually happening here. A bit of compression. I'm cutting all the way up to 500 Hertz. We don't need anything below those frequencies, nothing. So, and then I'm cutting once again at 400 Hertz and compressing a little bit. That's it, as you can see, without, yeah, a lot of low frequencies that we don't need there. So from there, let's go to the toms. Before, after. I'm gating a little bit, pushing the top end, pushing a little bit of the mid-range as well, top end as well, 5K, cutting 400, 60 dBs, boosting a little bit of 100 Hertz roughly, compressing and using also the gate. On tom 1 we still have this EQ to correct the frequencies, and it sounds like this without and with. Controlling the low frequencies over here and then adding a little bit more top end to cut through the mix. That's it for tom 1. Tom 2, let's have a look and let's check how it sounds. Without any processing. So we've got, once again, SSL channel, and I'm boosting 7.2. Nothing here. I'm cutting 200 Hertz. I'm cutting 9 dBs at 200 Hertz. Nothing on the low frequencies. Compressing once again and using the gate as well. Then after that, controlling this area here, the muddy area, as you can see here on this EQ. This is without the EQ, with the EQ. Cool, sounds good. Let's go to another tom, tom 3. And this tom sounds like this without any processing. Big gap. So let's check. We've got here what? Pushing once again 8.2K and then pushing 3.94K, a little bit, just 1 dB, 2 dBs max. Cutting 200, once again, 10 decibels at 200. Let's check the compression and the gate. There we go, compressing a little bit, and the gate just to control the tail, because otherwise it's going to be way too long. We also have this strange EQ here without the EQ. It's way more controlled, more focused. Then floor tom number 2. Super long tail as well, and it just doesn't sound great, to be honest. Let's see what's going on here. I'm cutting at 63 Hertz, and here I'm pushing 3.8 decibels at 7K, 5.6 decibels at 2K, and then cutting once again 200, pushing a little bit of 1.4 decibels at 95 Hertz. Compressing and using the gate once again to control the tail. All together. This is one of the things that we need to keep in mind. We need to check all the time how it sounds, because by itself it might sound really great, but then if it doesn't sound fantastic in the mix, there's no point. Okay, so we've got to work with the mix. So once we get here, let's just check how it sounds. We can hear all the toms, you know, the floor tom number 2 that it wasn't sounding great. It sounds much better now. So let's go to overheads. As you can see, I'm just using, once again, 2 plugins. SSL channel. I'm not even cutting the low end on the overheads. You know, it depends on the sound of the drums. This is the Superior Drummer 3, and I'm working with the wave files. Not the MIDI tracks. I'm pushing a little bit of 18K, and then I'm cutting 4K. Probably it was a bit too harsh. Let's have a look. Yeah, sounds better this way. Then I'm cutting once again for 480 Hertz. You know, the honky frequencies, mid-range. Nothing on the bottom end, and just compressing a little bit. Nothing fancy, as you can see. Then after that, we've got Pro Q3, and just this frequency. Yeah, it's that. This is a frequency, you know, range that makes things sound On small speakers, it's where you can actually hear the kick, but if you have it too much, it just goes to overlap everything, and it's not gonna be great, I'm telling you. So it needs to be controlled more often than not. Sounds good. I'm not using the ambient rooms, I'm using a reverb for that. I didn't like the way it sounds in the mix, so I left it the way I left it out of the mix for this particular case. Then we've got the ride, and I'm just cutting a few frequencies over here. Nothing special, as you can see. Nothing on the splash and on the China. And everything goes to this master bus for the drums. So the Pultec is pushing the low end and attenuating a little bit, pushing the top end as well, attenuating, and that's pretty much it. And after that, we've got an SSL compressor to control mainly the snare and just makes everything sound a bit more cohesive. And then saturation. And I'm not even pushing the drive here without This is the way I've mixed these drums for this particular song. Let me know in the comments down below, which one do you prefer, the digital version or the analog version? As I've said before, I've tried to match the digital version to the analog one, so that way the gap was smaller. On the next video, I'll show you how I've mixed the guitars and the bass for this particular song as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let me know in the comments down below your opinion about this mix, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great time, and I'll see you soon. Bye.